What has an ex ruined for you? My backyard. After we broke up he decided to move 3,000 miles across the country to the town I moved to and began to date my next door neighbor. I basically share a backyard with her, but he swears it's a coincidence. Solution: 1. Get a nicer, more attractive boyfriend. 2. Hang out in backyard regularly. 3. Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? 4. Profit. Macup. For a while as a younger teen. My first proper attempt at Macup was age 15, just after we broke up. And he said that I shouldn't wear Macup because it only suits a certain type of girl. And when I asked which type, he said pretty girls. And you're not one. Apostrophe. So I stayed away from Macup for a bit until I realized that I really would like to wear it. And so I did. Also, great for you on getting the VS show. Bud Light Strawberritus. I've never been much of a beer drinker, but I love these things. I had had a few too many one night and the ex made up a silly story about how George Washington owned some margaberry trees and that's what they made the Strawberritus out of. I don't remember why it was so hilarious, but I'm smiling thinking about it. After I dumped him, I always felt a little sad when I drank one. Fortunately they came out with a mango flavored one that I like better, so it all worked out. Honestly, my education. I was so obsessed with him and so excited that someone actually liked/was interested in me that I completely let college fall to the wayside. I got terrible grades when we were seeing each other, and then dealing with the aftermath of our relationship for years affected my grades too. Not completely his fault, of course. I definitely hold most of the responsibility. But I wish I could go back in time and just reject him outright, so I could have gotten a better GPA and done more proper networking in college. Wow, I didn't think I was the only one who let my education fall because of my ex. I was too excited to focus when I was with him and too sad to care afterwards. But to be honest, I'm glad it happened. If it didn't happen I actually would have been struggling in uni. I wouldn't have gone to a course and met my amazing BF. Peanut butter. Yes, I poop or not. They were severely allergic to peanuts, which sucked cause I was one of those freaks that ate peanut butter straight from the jar. Spoonfuls. Well, I quit having it around and stopped eating it altogether. Went 2 ducking years without a single Ray's cup. No PBJS. No peanut anything, because head swelled like the Snoopy made a balloon otherwise. The day we split I had my first scoop of peanut butter in 2 years. Just to spite him. It wasn't the same. It tasted like shit. I hate peanut butter now. Oh god. So much. But they all seem too trivial to really elaborate on. Many songs. A text message tone. Also, my ex was a huge man-child, so certain common situations will now always remind me of his stupid whining and temper. He used to be so ducking annoying whenever we would have to make a U-turn while driving somewhere. And now, I hear his dumb voice every time I have to make a U-turn. It's ingrained into me forever. I hear his dumb voice every time. I laughed out loud at this. My ex had a temper, too. I'm getting better now. But last year, almost everything would remind me of him being mad. Like, I'd see a crooked picture and remember him shielding his eyes because OCD stuff like that made him angry. Or peeling the plastic wrapping off of something. I had to get every little scrap off or he'd chastise me. Or listening to the radio. I can just listen to the radio now without worrying. He used to quiz me on the name of the song and the artist and yell names at me if I was wrong. Then silent treatment. So much silent treatment. Open bracket. I think we may have dated the same guy. He'd yell at me for parking crookedly accidentally before I even had the chance to correct it. For sending him a sexy pic. For tipping the pizza guy too little or too much. And the silent treatment. Open bracket. Sunflowers. They were the first flowers he ever sent me. We had them in our wedding floral arrangements. I bought a bouquet a couple months ago that I didn't notice had one sunflower in it. But that's the first one I've had in my house since the divorce. Mountain Dew. He would drink a 24-pack a day. I can't even smell it without wanting to throw up. Oh, and my trust issues. He cheated on me. Fuck him. I don't suppose you could find a way to be in a camera shot Wouldn't it be nice if he saw you there on TV? Lol. I work with footage after it's shot. So no. But I'm going to try to get my current BF hired as a PA for the next shoot, which would be the ultimate revenge. I can't watch Parks and Rec because my ex looks and acts just like Andy. Every time they cut to him with that stupid smile, I want to throw my monitor out of the window. My ex looks like Shia LaBeouf, and I loved Shia since Even Stevens, especially because since our breakup, my ex has been trying to grow out his beard and look grizzly, and Shia has been doing the same thing lately. Stabs me in the heart when I see Shia cry in movies. Don't get me wrong, my feelings for the ex are gone, but I still feel so bad for him, and seeing Shia cry is like watching my ex cry the night I broke up with him. Sorry for unloading on you. I just don't have anyone else to talk to about this. I like your comment better 3. My ex nearly ruined pet names for me. I wasn't allowed to call him by anything but his actual name, which was so ducking tragic for someone like me. I won't let the Methodica have the privilege of actually taking anything away from me. It's mine, damn it. Exclamation mark. I peed on it. Exclamation mark. Same happened to me. He literally said pet names are for family and you're not family. Guess that was the beginning of the end already. My so and I use pet names all the time, but I would find it super weird to use them with family. I mean, sometimes we playfully banter and call each other old thing, old bean, old stick, old chum and things like that, but pet names? Nope. Unless old bean is a pet name. But to me, they are more like honey, sweetie, etc. Honestly, people with my name. She went and dated someone with my exact same name a few weeks after we broke up. Though that person was probably already more than just a friend before we ended things. In hindsight, I'm still not over it really. I've considered getting a name change. As for what you could do for your VS issue, just think those models would probably be disgusted by your ex and his dad and never go near them with a 10-foot pole. I wouldn't say he ruined them but I still feel very weird when I hear our songs, and I feel like I should turn them immediately. It sucks because the songs are awesome. Hey, I get this, but best part is eventually it goes away. I couldn't be in the same room when Smile Like You Mean It by The Killers played. I walked down the aisle to the string quartet version, or I cried every time I heard Come What May from Moulin Rouge. We are both singers and would duet this for fun. He even wanted to sing it together at our wedding, but he couldn't make it through the song without choking up. So yeah, they both made me sick to my stomach for a long time after our divorce. But now it's more or less okay. Years and years later, you'll love them again. The June series. Actually, duck him. It's still awesome. Just not quite as taken with Paul anymore. I kind of enjoy the fact that the dude who identified so much with Muad'Dib turned out to be a rat after all. Close bracket. For a while I couldn't handle my own laugh because it made me think of her. Adventure Time is still kind of off the table. My favorite bar in this city. We were known as a package deal there, and now it's too awkward to go back. I went with a related boyfriend like a year after the breakup, and it was so awkward. Like I felt judged for being with another guy a year after the breakup. Go you. But yeah, my worst ex ruined Jeff Buckley, The Princess Bride, a very beautiful Pablo Neruda poem, Youngling, actually beer in general, and I have a general fear of drunk men now. I don't get upset or sad when I encounter these things, just angry with what a doofus I was. Dave Matthews. DMB was the soundtrack to our relationship. My ex was obsessed with him. He would buy countless spindles of CDs so he could burn every single concert that was on the internet. He had it playing in our apartment at his parents' house and in his Jeep. Wherever he was, it was almost always playing in the background. Kind of most things. It's still fresh, but random stuff reminds me of her. I'm a man guy person. It's nothing huge, but I look around and see her in a lot of things. I think the worst part is realizing seeing her in everything made me so happy. Now the happy memories just hurt. I know exactly what you mean. And it gets worse the longer you're with someone. Here is the deepest secret nobody knows. Here is the root of the root and the bud of the bud. And the sky of a tree called life, which grows higher than soul can hope or mind can hide. And this is the wonder that's keeping the stars apart. I carry your heart, I carry it in my heart, Cummings. Flipping. It was my hobby, and I made some money from it. I never did it full time or anything but just for fun. My ex got really into it, made a bunch of expensive purchases, and I'd list stuff for him / explain how things worked. He became super arrogant and told me I wasn't cut out to be a flipper. But then he didn't actually follow through with actually selling the stuff. So he accused me of leading him in a weird direction. Apostrophe. Yeah. Everything about those last 2 months kind of pisses me off. Same with my ex. Because I was into graphic design, he took a CL butt and started marketing himself as a professional graphic designer. Duck that noise. E. I'm also still infinitely better than him at it. T. But the copycat thing was so annoying. G. Our friends. We were in a relationship through all of college and had the same group of friends throughout. After we split up, most of the group members were very diplomatic and still hung out with both of us separately. But I just couldn't shake the feeling that they were really his friends all along. I initiated the breakup and he took it very badly and went to these people for support. So hanging around them just made me feel guilty and judged. Eventually I had to cut them out of my life because the feeling was driving me crazy. Even though I'm not sure there was ever any real evidence for me to feel that way. Open bracket. Not an ex, it's complicated. But It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I was finally able to get myself to watch a couple episodes again, and it was hilarious. But it didn't take long for the pseudo PTSD to settle in again. Dude, bro, man here. All Lion and Wine songs. I always loved them, and they were her favorite band. Ever since we broke up, I can't listen to a single song without being deeply emotionally reminded of her. And it's not all bad memories, but even the good times are uncomfortable now. Congrats on getting away from a pair of objectifying, emotionally stunted douches. Good luck with your new job. Country music was like that for me, too. Couldn't listen to it for a year, at least. I think music is especially difficult because you don't just hear it, you feel it, you know? It can transport you right back to a memory that you may not want to relive right at that moment. Oh man. Gaming and games culture. Especially the social aspect. I turn up my nose at any and all MMOs. I have a few series I've been following since before I met him. But they're almost all games he hated, and I play / mod them all in ways he would hate. Sitting at a computer desk. We started as an online LDR. I have to have a laptop or tablet if I want to get anything done, because I can only stand it for an hour or so. It's not that it reminds me of him so much as it just annoys me now. I can't get over the restless feeling of wasting time. New York City. I'll never set foot there again. Not if God himself summons me there. The Red Hot Chili Peppers. Or anything with that bass wire California desert sound. Just can't do it. Luckily he had poop taste in music, otherwise so no loss there. Finally, my faith in humanity. I spoke to him several years after we broke up. Looking back, I don't know why. But I had this bug up my butt. Oh no, if he'd gained any perspective at all about how poorly he treated me and treats girlfriends in general, and there was just nothing except if anything. G. He'd gotten worse. E. People don't always grow up and get better with time. E. They don't always realize their mistakes or care to. O. Being right is not the same as winning. G. I guess it's a lesson I would have learned anyway. Y. And probably sooner than I did. I just wish it had come from somewhere else. E. I could have told him off. F. But I figured, why contribute to his development that way? Y. So. O. I had a little fun pretending to be his obsessive psycho ex for a while. E. I wasn't even good at it. Just updated a Twitter account on my commute sometimes. But he definitely bought it hard. Felt good, man. Listen, though, work on this show and do it with vigor. Those women don't look the way they do on TV or in the catalog, and you're going to see that up close. If you find yourself thinking about your ex, make it about how dumb he is to think these women roll out of bed that way and not appreciate how much work and creativity goes into making that fantasy. Make it about how pathetic he is and how sad he must be to see so little beauty in the world if he only finds it in something that's not even real. You've earned this. The only person who can let him take it away from you is you. Feel yourself. New York City. That's how I felt about San Francisco for a long time. Now I moved across the country and live 30 minutes from there because my current so asked me to move in, and oh well. It's okay I guess. Tech N9 Northeast. I was just getting into his music when I started seeing my ex. He would blast it in the car every time he got in it. I can't listen to him now. His music just makes me cringe about that whole relationship. So many things, and I'm not over exaggerating. Even something as mundane and trivial as showering or ordering in food. Granted, the breakup is still pretty fresh. For me anyway. It was 4 months ago. We were exclusive and committed for almost 2 years. Met and befriended each other about a year before that. I'm tired and frustrated by all the thoughts and memories, whether I'm doing an activity or not, that I just force myself to sleep as much as I can. I'm also plagued by hindsight bias and regrets big time. I've come close to committing suicide while struggling to recover. I'm no stranger to the ideations and attempts, but it's been really bad since this breakup. I have been seeing all the right healthcare professionals, but I wouldn't be surprised if I succeeded one of these days. I guess my ex is doing much better. He has been unhappily in a new relationship for over a month already. I'm trying to be positive and hope that one day, preferably soon, I can get over it. But right now it's really difficult. Even if certain things get unruined, I don't think my sense of trust and emotional connection will ever return. I really loved him, and he did too. At one point. Edits for wording, flow, and clarity. Guy here. So if the mods, or op, want this removed, that's cool. My ex-fiance ruined quite a bit for me when I found out she was seeing a married man. I proposed to my fiancé 2 years ago as of December 26th. So Christmas is pretty much shot for me. She broke up with me 2 days before Thanksgiving last year. So that is gone as well. About 4 years and 6 months ago, I gave her our promise rings next under a gazebo me and my dad built that we planted a rose bush on. I had the rings tied together and hung them on a late blooming rose. And I can't really stand going anywhere near that. Other than those, there are several TV shows, movies, and anime that I can't watch without feeling severe depression. There are movies I refuse to go see or watch when they come out because we had been looking forward to watching them together. Such as I Frankenstein and the Mockingjay movies. I didn't let him ruin anything. I reclaimed everything and planted my flag back into it. Even things that were his, and he introduced me to. They're mine now. It caused me a lot of grief and anxiety back when I was forced to confront everything but duck. If I can't enjoy everything I used to enjoy. Plus, eating an orange in my own house after years of being careful and sensitive to his needs. After he hurt me. Was super satisfying. I'm with you on that. I was in this thread trying to think of something that may have been ruined for me, but I don't think anything has. I still play the same games, listen to the same music, have the same hobbies, etc. I cannot think of one thing that has been ruined, but maybe I'm too far removed. I hope that everyone in this thread will eventually reclaim everything back for themselves. My early 20s. I can't discuss awesome things I did with people without somehow mentioning him. 5 years down the drain and he's in all my best memories. It's not even like he made the memories good. It's more like he was the equivalent of a bad haircut during an awesome time in my life. Oh, this awesome thing happened or hilarious story. But I had that terrible haircut. So I don't want to talk about it. Exploring new rooftops in the city and almost the good things that happened to me. He always used to tell me to keep it to yourself to save yourself from disappointment. As photographers, we used to shoot all the time and he almost ruined photography from me. I stopped finding rooftops because the view was always so concrete and repetitive. I ended up finding better perspectives on ground level and grew as a person. That's pretty tight I guess. Haha. Guy here. I just recently broke up with my first GF. And so far I have a hard time playing Minecraft. When we were together we played it a lot. It was her favorite game. Other than that a couple songs that remind me of her and Fast 7. It was our first date. I hear you. I just broke up recently with mine. We play Mabinogi. The worst thing is, We are both very active players, and running into him and his friends is common. I haven't been able to play recently. My trust in humanity. She lied to me about just about everything. Her kid, her feelings for me, everything. In the end she told me I was a mistake, a rebound, and that she never would have even looked at me if she wasn't having a kid. If it makes you feel any better, she was lying about you being a mistake and that she wouldn't have looked at you if she wasn't having a kid. I've been told that before as well. It's a coping mechanism. Think of it as a scorched earth tactic. Try to win the breakup by inflicting as much damage as possible. It's a terrible thing to do, but people do it. So don't get down. She's the horrible human being who has to live her life losing the trust of everyone who gets close to her. And she'll never really know if people care about her or if they're caring about the person she's lying about being. Going active duty. I wouldn't have to worry about how much I hate my civilian job and how hard it is to get a new one and how expensive it is to live here hadn't I been so loyal, to a fault, to him. He was going to leave if I went active, so I went guard instead. The plus side is that I met who I'm supposed to be with thanks to the guard. My ex is really into little known bands. We dated before Passenger got big, and he was one of his favorites. We used to always listen to his stuff together, and we saw one of his first shows together. And I swear, as soon as we broke up he released Let Her Go as a single, and it was on every radio station. That was really hard. I can't listen to Passenger anymore without being put right back in the headspace. Tulips. They used to be my favorite flowers, and we used it as a code word to mean I love you, while no one still knew we were together. Now I can't see them and not think of her, and it kinda ruins it for me cause she said some kinda hurtful things towards the end. Rough and really long sex. If a guy tells me he lasts real long baby, I just cringe and it's a total turn off. Also he was into being rough and wouldn't come off without it. As a result I wouldn't initiate ever or want to, and he blamed me for lack of libido. Anyway there was obvs a huge lack of communication and he's an ex for a reason. Typo Negative's October Rust album. It actually took me years to be able to listen to that again, and I still skip a couple of tracks more often than not. To a lesser extent, the band ours. Not that it ever comes up, because who the hell are they? And the dude wasn't even really a boyfriend, so he isn't really an ex. But whatever. I can't stand Muse either, because the vocalists sound similar to me. My self-worth. Years later and I still get wrapped up in those terrible thoughts. Why wasn't I good enough for him to stay faithful to? Did I do something wrong? Am I too ugly? Are my fingernails too short? Apostrophe. I'm a lot better at it now. But goodness I can't wait until I grow enough self-confidence to chase those thoughts away. Katy Perry. When I was maybe 14 my boyfriend at the time was crazy about her. And he told me I was prettier than her without makeup on. But with makeup she was prettier. I'm not even overly jealous or insecure. But I absolutely cannot listen to her music anymore. We still joke about it though. My ex has ruined a lot of my favorite songs. But also my self-esteem and trust in people. I don't take anyone's words for true anymore. There is also a really fun festival I want to volunteer at. But I know my ex will be there too. So maybe I can't even go. Don't want to be confronted with him anymore. And all my favorite video games. I can't play Civ V or The Walking Dead without thinking about how much he loved those games too. And how fun it was to play together. Oh, and of course I lost all the friends I made through him. I miss them. Canada. All of it. He was Canadian, obviously, so yeah, anytime I see a Tim Hortons, a Maple Leaf, or even shows like Corner Gas and Mr. D, I just get disgusted. Heck, he nearly ruined my baby's nursery theme. Lol, if it's a boy I want to do it in a cabin kinda theme with moose and bears. So my charming husband said, hey, if I didn't know any better I'd say you were doing this in kinda a Canadian vibe. He was joking of course, but I'm too hormonal for that crap right now and nearly changed everything. But I realized that my ex is a stupid jerk and I'm not changing my baby's nursery around just because of him. And gosh darn it, I'm gonna take a trip back up there because it's beautiful and I miss ice caps from TH's! Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. Lol. Cooking. I absolutely loathe cooking now. Cooked for us our entire 4-5 year relationship while he sat on the couch, on his iPhone, watching TV. Didn't bother to help cook, clean up, or even hang out while I did everything. So I loathe cooking now. The extent of my cooking nowadays is the toaster. Old Spice perfume. I get instantly nauseous when I smell it. I used to love it. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.